good? Okay, we'll go ahead and get started. We have everyone here tonight except for Jit and Chantel. We knew Jit wasn't going to be here. Did anybody hear from Chantel? No. Okay.
She might be here.
Okay. All right. If we could, pledge the flag, please.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you. Did everyone get a chance to look at the minutes from last month, excuse me? Have any questions?
No.
Can I get a motion?
Move to approve the minutes.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Sorry, who's seconding?
All right, we have some guests today.
Yes.
If the two, can you come on up from Rambo? Sure. Roswell Alpharetta Mountain Bike Association.
Actually, organization, Rambo.
Oh.
Rambo. Okay, we'll change that.
Rhomba something.
Otherwise, it doesn't quite work, that whole play on words, and we're just so BA.
It's a great name. I like it, yeah.
So, would you like me to talk on the microphone? Usually my voice carries, but if you wanted to record.
Well, you're being recorded, so you might as well, get every
Okay.
word in.
So, Morgan Rogers told us about this, asked us to come by and just tell you a little bit about Rambo as a group. Rambo started about 20 years ago and as a chapter of the Southern Off-Road Bicycle Association. And the whole organization is designed to manufacture, build, maintain mountain bike trails in a lot of different areas. It's all over the country in the Southeast. Our first trail was about 2003. It was actually it remains in Alpharetta. It's the Mount Adams Trail, which is just north of the YMCA, right there just below West Bridge Road. And we still maintain that trail. It's in a great beginner track. Shortly thereafter, we partnered with Roswell for the Big Creek Park project that they purchased the land there. And we have about 7 miles of cross-country trail, which is less technical, rolling type stuff, and also a very popular free ride area there too, which draws people from all around the region. That's pretty much you walk your bike up and then you go down. And, and maybe sometimes you jump things, and Roswell's been very supportive of that. We're here because also that some of you may know, or you all may know, is that we've been talking with Karen Richards, Don Mitchell, and some of the staff, Morgan, Kurt, et cetera, about partnering with you on an adaptive trail here in Alpharetta. There is actually a lot of informal trails have been developed by people just out hiking, walking, mountain biking, et cetera, all around Roswell and Alpharetta. And something like this would be really interesting in terms of being part of the connectivity that Alpharetta is really working on with the Alpha Loop and all the things that go with that to get people moving via bicycle and via their feet. And in this case, this particular informal trail runs north from Rockmill Park to North Point Church. And so instead of somebody taking a half mile of concrete greenway, they ride 1.5 miles of dirt. And so right now it's just a narrow piece of trail that was a deer path, and people are on it all the time. Our goal is to actually develop it into an adaptive trail for people who are on hand cycles, off-road wheelchairs, and other people that just aren't on just regular two wheels that we are. And we're very excited about this project because it would be the first in the state of Georgia. I think the only one that is anywhere in the Southeast is in North Carolina from my research. So that's something that we're really interested in working with you on, and we've submitted an MOU for review with the city, and it's gone through a couple of reviews with Morgan. So that's where everything stands with us right now. I don't know if you have any questions for us about how what we do or what we are hoping to do with you all.
I do have a quick question for clarity. If you could explain a little more the difference between an adaptive trail and you said an informal trail?
Sure. An adaptive trail is a wider trail and also has limited slope up and down to allow folks who are hand cycling to be able to, traverse the grade, if you will. So an adaptive trail has maximum grades of anywhere between 1% and say 3%, whereas a normal mountain bike trail may have anywhere between 1 and say 15%, so you can see the great difference. And so the idea is to allow folks who, we have a lot of vets, a lot of folks who are looking to get off road and in the area, be able to participate in that and have a place to go and ride. And this would be kind of hopefully one of several opportunities that we want to work with. Yeah, sure.
How many members do you guys have?
Right now, our membership stands at about 300 at our chapter, but there's so many chapters around here. There's one in Woodstock, one up in North Georgia, up in Gainesville. So probably as Southern Off-Road Bicycle Association, there's probably well over 3,000 to 4,000 members in probably North Georgia. Or, well, actually, that might be a bit excessive, but 10 chapters, do you think? Yeah, it's probably about right, yeah.
That's great.
And that's typically only about somewhere between maybe 1% and 5% of the actual ridership of the trails. So for example, when we talk about Big Creek Park, we see an average usership of mountain bikers of somewhere around 10 to 15,000 users per month, based on the counters that are installed on the trails. So that gives you a sense of how many members we actually, you're not required to be a member. It just simply helps us because we're a 501c3 nonprofit. So of course, membership helps us pay for tools and equipment and things to manage and maintain the trails.
So you guys can even monitor how many laps are done?
With
on-
counters installed, that's correct.
Wow.
It's an online thing that the Parks Department had installed, and so we have access to that data through the Parks Department down there.
I think that's great.
What's the process and logistics of transforming a deer trail into an adaptive trail?
Sure. That particular trail is going to require a little bit of widening of the overall corridor of the trail. So right now it's probably about 3 feet wide. We would want to take that to about 6 feet. So we would have to take out some small trees along the way. There are no large trees that would need to be removed. It would just be kind of your typical 3 to 5 inch at a max. And then the other part of it is also in some places you have some low-lying areas that do get wet and may stay wet. So what we would do is bring in some rock and basically armor the trail in those spots so they never stay wet, and so that no matter what time of year you can ride the trail or walk the trail. It's a multi-use type trail. It's not just for mountain bikers. We see a lot of hikers and people just looking to explore nature.
So with regard to maintenance of the adapted trail, is that something that you would continue to do as an organization, as Rambo?
We do. In fact, we spend right now we have a total of about 30,000 volunteer hours since our existence. We have great partnerships with just local cyclists as well as groups like REI who help us bring volunteers out. So if a tree falls down, we're able to clear the trail. If there's rock work or drainage work that needs to be done on the trail, we're able to take care of that. We also would work with the city on any signage or any additional work that needs to be done, trail status, things like that.
Well, I just want to say thank you because I've used those trails and over the years, and I think my comment and workshop was it's about time that this partnership becomes more formalized and we move forward on that. So.
Any other questions or comments? Gentlemen, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I don't know, did I tell you my name? Do we say our names? I'm Mark, for the record, I'm Mark McCabe.
And I'm Ryan Kramer, and we're both Alpharetta residents.
Right.
You've been here, what, 30?
I've been here a long time. 3 or 24. Yeah, and we're both members of the board of Rambo.
Yes.
Okay, that's great. Thank you.
Wonderful.
Thank you for your
Thank
time.
you, guys.
Thank you,
Thanks for
gentlemen.
everything you do. I don't believe we have any old business to take care of today, so let's get right into the Youth Association banners. Christine, can you come up?
Good evening.
Hey, yeah,
I don't know if we want to read this first,
Okay.
and then we can go into questions. So if you don't mind, Christine, read this, and then,
I do not have it.
okay,
Sorry.
I have a couple of questions after that.
Okay. All right, Youth Athletic Association sponsor banners on fences. This policy shall be in effect for 1 year, June 2021 through May 2022. The Recreation Commission shall determine in early '22 if the policy shall be extended. Sponsorship banners on fences. Partner youth athletic associations approved by the Alpharetta Recreation Commission may be authorized to invite sponsors to hang banners on the inside of the athletic fences of the athletic fields as assigned by the department staff. Banners must be family appropriate, non-political, and be approved by department staff. Banners shall be single-sided vinyl with a minimum of 4 grommets, or 6 grommets?
Typo.
Okay, so 6 grommets, I would think.
Yeah, I would
Yes.
think so.
They must be black windscreen type material with white lettering and/or logos. Banners shall not be any larger than 4 feet by 8 feet and may be smaller if appropriate for location. Final design and size must be approved by the department staff. The hanging and removal of banners is solely the responsibility of the youth associations. The location of all banners must be approved by department staff. Banners may be put up at the start of each season and shall be removed at the end of each season as determined by department staff. The fees charged for the banners will be determined by the Booster Association boards and must be approved by department staff.
Any questions?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I missed the workshop, otherwise I would have talked about this at the workshop. Has somebody been picked out to be department staff?
It would be either Morgan or myself.
Okay. For all the associations? Okay.
Yes. And Matt would be involved in that, and Eric too, because they are overseeing those parks.
Okay. So the season is kind of vague, because some of these teams are, like Ambush practices year-round. I know some of the softball teams, anyways, so what specifically were we thinking for season here? Like the time that the rec plays, or?
That's a good question. I don't know if that has been determined yet. Scott?
No, I was going to say, it does say here, as determined by department staff, so.
So that's something we would need to determine still. You're right that AYSA, AYBA, and Ambush do go year-round. That is correct. Now, we could sit there and say, well, for fall season, this is what you're doing. For spring season, this is what you can do. And for summer season, if you want to break it into 3 seasons, we can do that.
I would suggest first game to last game, rather than hang,
Yes.
because if it starts overlapping, then you're going to start running into a problem with, they got their sign hanging there, and we need to put ours
Right.
there.
That's a very good suggestion.
So,
Yeah, per season. Okay.
And who decides when the banner needs to be replaced? Like if they buy one and they're thinking, okay, anyways, who decides like when it's tired or?
If it looks bad?
Yes.
That would be our determination. I would think that the folks out in the park would say, hey, that one is torn, you need to take care of it ASAP. We're not gonna have banners hanging up that look ragged and torn.
Okay, and that'll be you or Morgan's job to do?
Or Matt or Eric. They'll bring it to their attention.
Okay, but Matt's a nice guy. He doesn't complain, okay? So,
Get on him. Or he'll call me and say, hey, you need to take care of it, which I will. Yeah. Yeah. That's something we as a team really pay attention to, is the aesthetics of things.
I think Morgan said he carries scissors with him.
well, I think it's gonna take more than scissors to cut these things down, aren't they? I mean, they're gonna be substantial, right?
Well, they'll be zip tied on.
They're zip tied.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. They're not permanently affixed. They're just zip tied. Really easy to get off if we need to. But what we would do was contact the president of the Youth Association and say, hey, you've got a banner that's not looking well. We expect it to be taken down and replaced by da-da-da-da-da. We'll do that.
Yeah, that was my main concern, the aesthetics, because given that we don't know necessarily how long it'll be up, right? You could have a sponsored that, hey, I'll sponsor you for 5 years with the same vinyl banner, and it just looks really bad, so.
Well, if, the associations, the guidance we will give them is to do it by season. To be able to have the sponsors change out if they need to, or continue on if they would like to, if they have space for them.
And this black windscreen, looks like when you're driving by, Matt said to me, it would be like the ones that you can see from Old Milton, or that.
Like the tennis courts.
Like tennis court signs. So not like the tennis court signs that were hanging at North Park that I kept nagging y'all about to get rid of.
No, they're down.
Right. Yeah, no, they are down.
It's like the black windscreen, so it's going to have white vinyl on it. White vinyl printing.
Reprinting, but they're not going to be they're not going to look like a graduation sign.
No, 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 they're,
That, because those are vinyl signs too, you know.
right, no, they're not vinyls. My understanding is that they're windscreens with vinyl on them, with vinyl printing. The lettering's print vinyl.
Right.
So, and the other thing is that, from what I understand, these are not going to be seen from Old Milton or for any of the main streets. They will be on the fields that are back from the streets. They won't see them. They won't, like, people driving by won't be able to read the signs.
No, because they're going to be facing
First.
inland.
Right.
Right,
Yeah,
that's
but I mean,
correct.
Fronting will only be on the one side.
Right, right. But you still can kind of see it. It'll just be,
Well, I think you'll be able to see it, but given that it says here, they must be black windscreen type material with white lettering or logos, there won't be colors to have to approve. And that's one of the things I considered after the workshop, that, you know, it's all very homogeneous in that, you know, it's a name, I think for what it is, it isn't gonna look like Piccadilly Park.
Yeah, it's not going to be a mishmash, and it'll be consistent across the board on every field for all sports.
okay. Because the Alpharetta youth baseball sign is colored, right? They have some red. They got, I don't know how many colors they got there, but theirs is
Yeah.
colored.
It'll be black with white lettering. Yeah, all
And
of them.
Christine, when it comes to paragraph 2 about the size, I know in workshop we had talked about on any field, the banners needed to be a consistent size. Is that still under consideration?
It's going to depend on the field. Some of the fields are bigger than others, and with the size needs to go along with the size of the field. They will not be any bigger than 4 by 8.
Could there be verbiage about consistency per field or something?
I believe that I know with Dave, he has, with AYBA, they have designated on what field, what size goes on that field, and that will be consistent on that field.
So it'd be a 4x6, 4x4,
Yes.
whatever it may be.
Yes.
Everybody on field 1 would be
Would be all
4 by
3 by
6.
6, or field 7 would be all 4 by 8. Whatever they determine,
Sure.
the size that makes sense on that field, they'll all be the same.
Okay,
They'll be consistent.
great.
Quick question,
Thank you.
had you considered determining preferred vendors to help with, you know, uniformity and quality consistency?
Each association has different relationships with different vendors, so I'm really kind of leaving it up to them to make those decisions, because they have those relationships.
Got it.
Obviously, we have to know who they're having, you know, as vendors, and make sure that they are, again, family appropriate and, you know, appropriate for the sport.
I like the fact that it's 1 year to begin with, so we see how well this is basically going to work, what it's going to look like, and, you know, and you all can determine too, how difficult it is to administrate and police. So
Yeah, agreed.
I think it's, you know, it's a good trial, see how things go. And I can already see that if I'm one of the associations, first game to last game, well, I've got to put the darn things up. So maybe it's a week before the first game, or 2 weeks before the first game, whatever that might be, and we'll have them down a week after the last game.
We'll give them a time period,
yeah,
but yeah.
yeah, I
Can't put
mean-
it up a month ahead of time.
No,
Yeah,
right.
Which they don't anyway, because there's not enough time in between seasons most of the time.
Sure, but they need to be given ample time to do it right.
Yeah, we'll definitely hammer out these fine points and put it
sure.
in a document for them.
That's
so
your
they
all's
have the
job,
rules.
so, yeah.
But that's a very good point. Thank you.
Christine, do we monitor what they charge for these things, or is that association by
That's
association?
by association. They're supposed to give us what their sponsorship plans are for approval.
After the last few days, after hearing what it costs to put a child in some type of sports activity, it doesn't matter what, I think we need to help these associations generate as much money as they can, maybe even lower some of the rates that they charge children now, scholarships to underprivileged children, whatever it may be, however it's put out that way. But, you know, it's very expensive to put a child, and if you got 2 or 3 children, one cheerleader, a baseball player, and in one league and another league, you know, that's a big check the parents have to write. So
Yep.
I would, I think we help them generate as much income as they can. You know, they figure out what they can charge, but the fact of the matter is they need the money.
Yep. Thank you.
Do we have any other questions, concerns? have we substantially changed this in our discussions? I know we went from 4 grommets to 6. That's,
Six is correct, that makes sense. On a banner, you need to have the 2 in the middle and 2 on the ends, so it is 6.
Okay.
And as far as the details, that will come out in the policy that we come up with. I've taken notes in my head on what you guys said that we need to do, and we'll definitely include all that in the policy. I can send the policy to you for review before we send it out, if that's
I do
something
have
you'd
one
like
more.
to see.
I'm sorry, I do
Oh, go ahead.
one more quick question, and I may have missed this. It seems like we're kind of late to the game. Why has it taken so long for banners to go up?
You know, actually, in the agreement, in the youth athletic agreement, it does state that they can do this, but no associations have come to us and asked about it prior to this. This is the first time, in the time that I've been in this position, the first time that it's come up.
But I have to say, though, in the 15, whatever, this has come up several times, and it used to always be pushback from the city council that they didn't want the view, they didn't want the yard looking like trash. And so I think that perhaps with these highly restrictive things, black on white, or white on black, it has to look like a windscreen, it has to look like perhaps that would appease them, but I think that there will be some pushback from some older people that live here that don't like banners, because it is nice to walk Wills Park and not to be bombarded with advertisement. You just look out and you look out at the field. It's nice that way.
And I think that's why this 1 year thing, taking a look at it and assessing whether it's something we really want to keep and whether it's a good program to have is a good time period.
And Christine, which association brought it to your attention or?
AYBA, the Baseball Association.
Okay, thanks.
any other questions or concerns? We're going to vote on this tonight. Can I get a motion?
Motion, we accept it.
All in favor? All against?
I'm sorry.
No, I'm good.
Gotta do that. Alicia's over there going.
Who seconded the motion?
I did. Again, I
And
need
then
to speak up.
all those in favor? And against? Okay, so the motion,
Motion passes. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
All right. Let's get on to our division reports. Ms. Amanda?
thank you.
Hello?
Hey,
Anna?
How's everybody tonight?
Be good.
How are you doing?
Doing really well, thank you. I have a very quick report for you. So I'll start with marketing. In our department, we have a lot of things going on in marketing, and I touched on those things last month. I'm not going to touch on those things again, but what I do want to add to what we just did from a marketing perspective is we created a new process for public input for our new parks. And we rolled that out at the Old Rucker Park Public Input Forum. And I know some of you were able to come and participate in that. And it was a way for us to do engagement and gather input from people in the park, not bringing it here to City Hall, which we have done in the past. And I thought that it was a really creative way to get our community engaged in the parks for the parks. So looking at our survey results today, we had about 70 people participate in the walking tour. We had volunteers who laid out a mulch trail, 3 giant truckloads of mulch. We made like a yellow brick road that went all the way through the park. We had 7 engagement touch points using QR codes, and the people who participated voted on the things that they liked, option A, B, or C for different elements in the park. 2 things that I want to share with you guys tonight about those results is that 50% of the people lived less than a mile from the park, and the 20% lived less than 3 miles. So 70% of the people who participated are within walking distance, which is exactly what we wanted to do. And that's why we wanted to have the park input being done in the park, because we want to get the input from the people who are going to be most impacted. So that was a win. And then the second factor is that 55% of the participants identified as families with young kids. and 42% identified as adults, no children. So that is 90, that's a lot, 90% of the participants who are going to be engaged in the park in some way. The other options were empty nesters or retirees, and so I'm sure they also are adults, but great. This means we're going to have a lot of people who are active with kids in the park over there. And then the last thing that I wanted to point out is that 30% of the people who participated in this, it was the very first time they had been there. So that's also great in that we brought new people to a park that they maybe didn't even know existed prior to this event. So I'm really, really happy with this approach that our marketing team came up with, marketing team being one part-time person. But I'm really, really impressed with it, and I hope that we can utilize it moving forward for other parks. On the event front, we have over 24 event applications in process or that have been processed or in queue since we opened back up. Food Truck Alley kicked off last week. We had a little bit of rain, but that didn't stop about 1,000 people from coming out for that limited edition event. Wow. This Saturday is our first Home by Dark concert. It'll happen here in Brook Street Park. We have 6 of them this summer. They're happening the 2nd and 4th Saturday nights, and that is the Home by Dark concerts that used to happen out at Checker Farms. That starts at 7:30. And then lastly, on the community ag front, we did hire, and both of our summer temporary staff members are working. This is their 4th week. They're doing fantastic. They're so great. I couldn't be happier. Our volunteer schedule is filling up. We've limited it now to Tuesday and Fridays because it was just getting to be too much, which is a great problem to have, but we have to wait until we have more capacity to manage it. We're going to be starting our fall crops the very first week of July. So you think that it's just starting summer, but in our world, we're already planning for those cool weather cabbage and kale plants. We are donating 70 to 80 pounds a week right now. That doesn't sound like a lot until you know that that is lettuce. It is 70 or 80 pounds of lettuce. We have some kale that's coming, but all of our root vegetables are done at this point. The turnips, the radishes, those are done, and we don't yet have the big fruit of the summer. So we are donating 70 to 80 pounds of lettuce. That's a lot. And then the last thing that I just wanted to plant a seed with you guys, I'm looking for guest speakers.
No pun.
We met today with our Cambridge High School ag business teacher, and we're planning for the next school year. And what we want to incorporate this year is more guest speakers to really enhance the educational opportunity for the students. This is ag business. So we're going to be looking for guest speakers who can talk about how to write a business plan, how to write a marketing plan. Hold on, I wrote more of the things, the ideas. How to set up a photo shoot. Tips and tricks for e-newsletters and storytelling. What we need from a city to develop something, because some of these students want to take what they've learned with us and do this wherever they end up after college. So if you know of, or if you yourself would be interested in teaching small business, or anything that your background brings, please let me know or connect me with someone that you know, because I really want next year to be even better than this year.
That's great. Any questions?
Yeah, I saw in the newspaper, you know, the Appin paper, that they're growing chickens at Cogburn Woods. Mm-hmm. Is that part of the ag business, the ag ladies business? Is that any way associated with? No.
Not yet. So they just had a big ag extravaganza event, and unfortunately I had volunteers at the farm, so I wasn't able to attend their event. But I had gone there right before COVID. They have a really wonderful setup in the backyard, and Cogburn is the feeder elementary that will eventually get to Cambridge. And so the vision of the school district, not district, but those 3 schools is to have Cogburn, Hopewell, and Cambridge, all with ag programs, so that the children that are interested in that don't get lost. And so Cogburn's set up, Cambridge is set up, and then next will be Hopewell. And we're hoping that they're hoping that will be an easier gap to fill once we have elementary and high school. But it's a wonderful setup that they have out there.
And are you, so they're just managing that on their own, or are you guys kind of working with them, or no, they just?
Completely on their own, separate. We do not have our school program set up yet. I'm hoping that that's something I can do
Yeah,
in the next 12 months.
fair enough,
But we don't have any support formally set up for schools yet.
fair enough, okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Amanda, just a comment on the public input. Very, very engaging, and it really got our family talking about the vision and just really feeling a part of that. So kudos to you and the marketing team.
Great, thank you very much.
You guys coming with another poster for us?
Absolutely.
Okay, okay, okay.
Thank you, Amanda. Mr. Casey.
Good evening.
How are you?
It's already been a month. How they fly by. We have been busy at Will's, obviously, with all the maintenance, daily maintenance. But we were able to, our staff worked on some of the overgrown shrubs and landscaping in front of the community center. They were kind of growing into the trails around the flagpole. It was not a very inviting entrance as you come up to the building. Everything just, those mop cypresses just got too big. And so guys came in, we removed those and planted more appropriate plants in those areas. So it's a lot more inviting, it's a lot more safe, it looks a lot more safe. Kind of goes along with the patio addition to the left as you walk up. So our goal is to continue that landscaping all the way to the patio that we added to the right side as well. So there's some nice cohesive landscaping that goes with that building. With that landscaping, we had a volunteer work day on the disc golf course. We had about 8 guys come out, planted trees, shrubs, some really nice grasses. That's right near field 4. So as you're walking along the trail, it's a highly visible hole. We wanted to, that was going to be our first showcase hole. And so that really engaged a lot of those disc golf community to come out and help us out. And then hopefully what we're going to do is take that model and then start working on different holes around the park. So we actually enhance that course. So we can use their help, which is going to accelerate.
How many players play on that course daily? You have a guess?
You'd be surprised.
No,
it
I've
never
seen it.
stops. It
Right.
never stops.
We should get a counter like they got in Roswell for the bike guys that go around in circles.
Yeah, we know a couple of guys. Right? I would say, I mean, at least a few thousand a day.
Yeah.
That's being conservative.
Yeah, I wanted to make that, you were out there any amount of time, you just see golfers there 8 o'clock in the morning till, I guess, dark.
Till dark, yeah. We had Cub Scout camp last week at the Equestrian Center. So that was, that's always fun.
Noisy.
It's always a fun time.
Really noisy.
So,
Really noisy.
yeah, they had a good time. They had a little bit smaller turnout this year, obviously. But they moved out, had a horse show move back in. So now we're gearing up towards our summer horse show series, which are always really large. So we're going to be adding additional footing, additional roadway material. We're kind of waiting until after that July 1st window when our new fiscal year starts to kind of absorb those costs. But they'll be coming up very soon. So that's kind of what we're gearing up towards at the Equestrian Center. So that concludes my report. Any questions?
Any questions?
Yeah, so regarding fixing up the golf, the disc golf,
Yes.
at one point there was all this discussion about the deterioration of the
Stream banks.
stream bank, and there was, people were looking for money to help build the stream bank, and is there any movement on that at all? Or can they help, can we get any of that money to help these guys with their effort to beautify? Can they work together? No.
That's a great question, and I know we've applied for some grants, and that whole stormwater management fund is still in Public Works, and that's going to be an ongoing project.
So no movement.
So what we're trying to do is kind of where we can move some of those holes away from those stream buffers,
Right.
and then that way kind of control our landscape and slow that water down coming into that waterway.
Okay.
So that's kind of what our
That's your effort, yeah, okay.
Absolutely.
But nothing's been done on the other end to
that's on a
reinforce those walls or
on a
anything?
capital project in. That's right.
Right, okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Christine.
And I'm back. Okay, we have a lot going on in Recreation Services Division. Summer camps are officially underway. They kicked off yesterday, and I'm really happy to report that our numbers are incredible this summer for our summer camps. Going into 2020, we had such great momentum for summer camps, and we were really looking for a banner year that year, and then, well, we all know what happened. So I looked at 2020 compared to this year, which really isn't a fair assessment, but from 2020 to now, we're up 56% enrollment for camps, for summer camps. But I went back to 2019, and we're up 26% from what a normal year would be, which is 2019. So very exciting. Lots of kids out there having fun. We have over 3,500 participants this summer, and just in the summer camps. That doesn't include swim lessons and classes. I wanted to report to you guys on the special needs task force that we have. We have been meeting once a month. And for those of you who don't know, it's representatives from Roswell, Milton, Johns Creek, and the Isaacson YMCA. And we are working together to get an informational brochure out for all our information out to participants from all of our contact lists about summer offerings for special needs campers and people who are looking for things to do. We are offering 3 adaptive swim nights at Wills Park Pool that we have put that information out, and then Johns Creek is offering a movie night for free in September. And we're all collaborating, we're all there working. It's just a really fun thing to get together and plan these things. We are coming up again with a collaborative brochure going into the next year to show all the different activities that we have in our cities. We're planning a field day in October, similar to the Golden Games, but the City of Alpharetta is going to be hosting that, and we're really excited about that. Lindsay Pritchard's going to be the one heading that up, and we're also going to be going after sponsorships for that event. The Special Needs Services and Expo, which we've had 2 of already, will return early in 2022, and it will be hosted by Roswell. So as soon as we have that date, I'll let you guys know. On the health and wellness front, we have a Trails and Ales event that happens once a month, and we have partnered with Mountain High Outfitters and Jekyll Brewery. And for those of you who don't know, we meet at Jekyll Brewery. You have a choice of a 1.5-mile walk up the Alpha Loop, or you can take a longer walk over to Wills Park and do a 3-mile loop. And then when you come back, you get a token to get a beverage of your choice at Jekyll Brewery. The last event we had in May, we had over 50 people, which was very exciting. We actually had 2 groups go this time, one to Wills Park and one over there on the loop. And then we had a Trails and Ales biking event up at the brewery on Marconi. And people biked, and then when they came back, they got their token, and we had over 60 people attend that event. So that's just, especially during the summer months, I just see it getting bigger and bigger. In athletics front, we have AYSA and AYBA are into their summer seasons. Ambush Soccer held tryouts this last week for the fall, and they're looking forward to operating as an association come fall. Tyler Spinnenweber is still helping. He's the coordinator, helping with the transition. And they seem to be getting things right where they need to be, which is exciting for them. A couple of tournaments coming up just for your information for the summer. AYSA has their big tournament June 19th through 21st. The Braves Country Battle is going to be happening at Wills Park and Webbridge Park on July 9th through 11th. And Triple Crown, which is a big softball tournament at North Park, is going to be held July 22nd through 25th. And the last thing I want to report on is the AAAC, our Adult Activity Center, is open and running. We're so excited after being closed for, I think, 15 months. So very excited about it. Trips are going to start up again in September, but right now it's just all the activities at the center. Preston Ridge is starting off slow, trying to get people to understand what's going on over there. It's going to take a little bit of time, but we've had a couple camps in there this week, and it's really great to see all the kids in there and using the facility. So that's it for Rec Services. Any questions?
Question on, you had mentioned special needs. And I was wondering if you're collaborating with Kim Zane for arts, for special needs and also underserved folks.
Yeah, she actually has some programs that are for the adaptive population. Okay. I don't know if those have been going right now I think they're waiting to bring those back until,
I haven't heard of them.
Until the fall. But yeah, Kim has been involved in this as well. She's definitely been involved in the expo and the grant writing that we have as well.
I was gonna say, because Arts Alpharetta, I know the city's put in for grants, Arts Alpharetta as well, because I'm on
That committee.
the Fulton County Arts Council. One of the main things that they look for is the underserved and special needs.
And when that grant
So-
came out, yes, she came up with quite a few bits of programming over there that people were participating.
Yeah, we need to continue that because we're District 2, and we are underserved for grants. And the city of Atlanta and Fulton County knows this, so we need to really push, all that programming.
Okay,
For
I will definitely bring that,
Yeah,
can reconnect with her and bring her into the fold on that. Thank you.
you're welcome.
Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
We approved renting space, having the people rent space, $25 if you were a resident or
Oh, the pay, or the fitness.
the fitness.
Yes, we did approve that.
We did, and has that gone into place yet? And then if it what's been the reaction I saw that there were 2 existing groups.
Programs,
And I was wondering what their reaction was.
They're still working with them on that, and Anna's working on the policies and procedures for that whole program right now, so it's not in place yet, because we had it approved, and now we need to get everything in writing and give that to the people that it pertains to. But we are working on it with those instructors for starting in September,
Oh, starting September. That's
in the fall, in the school year season, yes.
Fall, okay.
Yep.
Christine, how's the turnout been at the pool this summer?
Slow because of the weather, but our shark swim team, we're over 200 kids again, which is really exciting. So they've been busy with that, and swim lessons are just packed. So that's exciting. But as far as daily attendance with the public, it's slow. It's just the weather's been so yucky this week. So hopefully next week it'll be pretty and
Oh, it was cold.
the water's cold. But we are back up to maximum of 300 people at the pool on the deck. So, any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Ms. Smiley.
How's everybody doing?
Good.
Well, how you doing?
So honestly, I really don't have a report because I don't have a whole lot to report aside from, our guys are just, keeping up with the tournaments and maintenance and, you're at the end of the budget cycle, so, funds are low. And so we're not, honestly, we're not working on projects.
Love the honesty.
I mean, that's, they're out there every day cleaning up trash and keeping the grass cut. You're battling weeds and fountains constantly and just trimming along the trails and things like that. You're in the growing season, so. And it's the summer season, so, people are out there and eating out and all that, and that's what we're doing. The new section of the Greenway, they had a soft opening, so they opened that, and I don't know if anybody has been on it yet, but I was on it today, and it's being used, and it's nice. I mean, it's a little over a mile. I don't know exactly. Do you know how long it is? Well, I rode it today. I didn't walk it, truth be told. And
On a bike
no,
or in
it's
the gator?
In the gator.
yeah,
In the
we were on a golf cart. Yeah.
gator.
But
That's cheap, that's entirely.
there were quite a few people on there, and it's if you have a chance, it's nice. So, and that concludes my report.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Kurt?
I'm guessing doing cultural services report first. So-
Okay.
Oh, yes, I don't know if they told you, but I got tagged to
You're it.
give Kim's report.
So you're
I
tonight's
know-
expert, I
I know,
take it, on
everybody starts
cultural
laughing,
service.
so,
Any questions for Kim?
I got lots of questions.
let me kind of limp through this. You got the different cultural happenings going on. Do y'all have this?
No,
No,
we
they
got this.
All right,
don't have
okay, you don't have this, okay, good. So let me limp even more. So let's see, we got some cultural happenings going on from the artist of Studio Michael Dillon. That's going to be, and that opens on June the 11th.
He's a sculptor. He's a sculptor. coming
sorry?
in. Sculptor?
Yes.
He's a sculptor. Thank you.
Yes.
Sandy, help me out, please.
I will.
Fill in, fill.
I'm right there with
in.
you.
You're the color person, please, please.
Do you have a bio of his work by chance?
And there's the music match lineup for June. See the flyer.
They had
Okay,
a
good.
flyer.
That we have.
That the flyer got handed out because I didn't know there was a flyer. So let's see. We got the Art Center Paint the Town. I am aware of that. I don't know if you've seen artists around painting the town, Alpharetta. I've seen artists painting different parks, different areas. It's really been cool to watch that, and according to Kim, it's been a big success.
It was
this year.
huge success. They sold, I heard talk to Nancy Murphy the other day, and they sold like $14,000 in the gallery of artwork. Now, they don't keep it all. They get a percentage commission, but still, that was the biggest show they've ever had at the Art Center. Yeah. And they said that the whole event that went on for 4 days was a huge success, got a lot of PR on it, they got a lot of notice from business, and hopefully they'll be taking part in sponsoring for next year. So it's pretty cool, and if you go to the Arts Alpharetta website, you can look at videos and some like carousel pictures and things of the artists working. Yeah.
Thank you, thank you.
Welcome.
So you had summer camps launched this past week. The arts camp launched, also the history camp also launched at the log cabin. I don't know if you folks realize that we kind of cleaned that area up just to kind of activate it for the camp. And of course, anybody wants to come by and use it as well. So it looks really nice over there. So it's a temporary, the pop-up concept that we're using. And that's just kind of in the interim between when we actually get the park developed and designed. So.
Are they ever going to finish the fundraising on the log cabin? I think the sign's still out there. I wonder, if they can do a special event.
I think they.
Did they finish?
I think
Did
they came close because they
I don't
gave
think
us
so.
permission to actually take the signs down.
Oh,
So.
okay.
So if they haven't reached it, they've come really close.
Okay, good.
We did ask
Great.
before we took them down.
Yeah.
We did ask. We didn't do the mad approach.
That fundraising sign is down?
Yeah, both of them. Both of them.
Okay, cool.
Kurt, I had a question. Will there be parking at Log Cabin, or will you park over in the school parking lot, walk across the street?
There is limited parking at the log cabin. I know they're working on access from being able to cross Milton Avenue from the school. I do know that there was concerns about parking at the lodge next door, and we were respecting
It's a parking
wishes.
deck. 200 or 300 yards away, parking deck.
On the same
Yeah, but
side
like
of the
for camp
street.
drop-off, how are they managing that?
I'm sorry?
For camp drop-off, where people come?
Yeah, they have a
loopy thing?
a loop. They you can see if you go by there now, they have the cones and they have that drop-off pickup worked out pretty well. We don't have any issues with that at all. So, but yeah, there is some parking, but very limited parking. You can park at the school and probably cross over, but right now there are no crosswalks. So the park, technically hasn't been developed yet, and when that's developed, it will. They're also working on eventually doing a drive that's connecting, a connector that goes right in front of the log cabin. Marcine Way, I believe it's at, and of course that's not funded, but it is in design. So once that happens, there's going to be obviously controlled crossing and crosswalks.
That's probably a question for Morgan, because I think I saw in the paper that the people that live on the other end of that road don't want the.
Yeah, right now it's not funded and.
Yeah, it's not fun-
I
it's
don't
not
think there's
funded.
any plans to fund it according to council.
So what crosswalks will come from that decision of whether or not that project's gonna happen or not. Let's see, public art, you got the free Little Line Art Gallery. This is the first exhibit by the Lionheart Works program, and that was on May 20th. And there are more exhibits apparently to come. So, you have any comments on that?
Kim was talking about last time, so I think we're okay.
That concludes Kim's report. Please don't ask me any questions.
Kim and Sandy report.
All right, so something that I'm a little bit more in tune with is the project management and the projects that's going on. On the park development side of things, the Innovation Academy facilities are still under renovations, and we're working through that process. Weather's been a challenge. Vandalism's been a challenge, but we're still working to get the restrooms operational. And we got the restrooms on the home side pretty much done. We put in a purchase order to do the final touches of the painting and doing the exterior. We got the plumbing and all the fixtures done on the inside, so it is operational. We just haven't opened it up yet. And then, of course, it'll look, the enhancements on the outside will happen. The challenge is the restrooms on the visitor side. That is in much worse shape because the doors were broken into during construction, and they were just kind of left unattended. So they're in bad shape. So that's going to take a little while and a little bit more money to get those. Mainly on the inside. The outside's not bad, but the inside's in bad shape. So. The master plan, the Wills Park master plan, the maintenance facility, it's actually, we've been requested to go into design for the specific facility to build it out by Public Works. So we are working with Pond with that. We are waiting on that proposal or that contract to be approved so we can move forward on just designing that out. And then we're going to go back out to bid with a specific specified design for the site work and for the building. They just felt it's the best way to go than trying to approach it with a design build. It just didn't work out the first time. Of course, costs right now are crazy, so you're just hard to guess on that. The Equestrian Center Arena, the deadline for the request proposal was extended to June the 11th, and didn't have a whole lot of questions. There has been several companies that have downloaded the information, but as of last week, there still was only one that had submitted. So we're still waiting. We're encouraged that more downloaded with the extension. We're assuming they're working on it and they're going to make those submissions this week. Eric mentioned the Greenway extension, some park improvements and enhancements that's going on. Obviously, you could see the turf green project has launched, and it is on schedule. They should be finishing the site work, weather permitting, this week, which means the turf installation will roll in to begin next week, which is good. That means that they're ahead of schedule and should meet that June 30th target that we're looking for. The North Park Playground replacement, that preparation is underway. We're looking to get that done hopefully middle July. We don't know if we're going to be able to finish it or be able to have the project done before the Triple Crown tournament going on, but it's going to be a really nice enhancement to the area, and it's kind of been a joint effort between all the different divisions to try to get this taken care of. So it's the first of our reoccurring capital for playgrounds, replacement for playgrounds, and then we'll have a few more as time goes on. We're looking to update and replace playgrounds about every 20 years. That's our target, and this is the first one. This is about 25 years, 20 to 25 years old, maybe 30, depending on if you count on some of the older equipment. And of course, the bocce ball court is still, the initial construction phase was done, and the Eagle Scout, the scout that installed it, I'm assuming that she will get her badge because he did a great job leading that group. Phase 1 is completed. Phase 2 we took responsibility of, and that's going to build it out for access to the court and also a pathway around for better accessibility. So we're hoping to work on that this summer and maybe get it completed and ready to go in August before fall. We're talking with the group, our senior adult center. They're happy to launch that and maybe have the grand opening at the end of the summer. So that's what we're hoping to do. And then other projects going on, the Wills Park Tennis Courts resurfacing, that project will occur in August after the summer camps are going to be going on. And of course, we have some trail caving in over at Beaver Creek Park, which is, if you're not aware of that, Beaver Creek Road, behind the old Wild Wings on off of Ransell Road. There's an access to the greenway there, and it is caving in. So we're in design trying to get that and trying to figure out a way to get it built without spending millions of dollars. Unfortunately, it starts out with something very simple, you think, and it keeps escalating. So hopefully we can kind of get that going in design and maybe go into mid-year for some funding for that. It's definitely a standalone project. So, any questions?
How are we doing for greenway washouts so far? Not too bad?
As far as?
Just washouts where we've had to rebuild anywhere else on the greenway?
No, we're keeping our eye on a few things. We've been very proactive on trying to avoid that. So we've spent a lot of money on trying to get some of the trees out of the creek, that's and the stumps out of the creek, that's causing that swirling that kind of messes with the integrity of the bank and the trail. So we've been very proactive on that. There are a couple areas though that we are definitely keeping an eye on that we're going to have to address that in the future. But being proactive and taking the trees out is eliminating the emergency, and then we can plan for it and do it without having to shut things down or it'll cost more too. So,
What kind of vandalism is happening out at Innovation Complex?
we had some
Graffiti writers?
Graffiti or worse?
come by and we bust down some doors with some deadbolts. Using center blocks, it looked like, and it just busted the doors in. Actually, the concession stand that we just painted and kind of was trying to establish some storage and so forth. Didn't have anything in there, and they obviously didn't go in and really do too much damage. They just wanted to get access, and they did. They did a very good job of it. They also were working on, there's an awning in front of the home restrooms that they worked on a little bit, did a little damage on that, which we welcome. That's coming down anyway, so we want them to come back and finish the job. So we'll put some signs up saying don't demo this or don't tear it down, and so they will. So that's what we're hoping to do. So.
Okay, and right now the bocce ball courts are done. We just don't have access to them. Is that what I'm hearing?
Well, the bocce ball courts are done. Somebody could go in and actually play on it if they wanted to, but the access area is not completed. So.
Okay, all right.
Kurt, is there any surveillance of that area? It just doesn't, of the places that have been vandalized, is there any surveillance or cameras?
At Innovation Academy, not yet. Of course, there is a precinct across the road, and we have spoken with the officers at that precinct, so they are aware of the situation, and they're going to come up with a strategy to kind of approach that. But yeah, surveillance is definitely something, and maybe some cameras in the general area may be something we need to think about. So.
Thanks.
Any other questions? Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Kurt.
All right, do we have any other questions or comments up here? Can I get a motion?
Move to adjourn.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Congratulations
Thank
to
you.
Scott for getting the seconds on every one of them.
I just,